So in this quick tip, we're going to show you how to make a violin legato section masked and sound more realistic. So let's go ahead and play this from notation. So the first thing I'm going to do is export this out to MIDI. Okay, open it up in your sequencer. And one thing to notice right off the bat is that legato patches, everybody starts and stops at the same time. And right here, if you look at the piano roll, everything's too perfect. The other factor is tuning. Tuning is never perfect. The faster things become, actually, the more out of tune they become. If you actually use that realistic scenario to help you make choices. So I use Viana's Appassionata strings for most of the Hollywood mock-up orchestrations. So and there's a patch called Out of Tune, and it's legato. So, and out of tune is one of the factors we actually need. So I need to put this into monophonic legato, not polyphonic. So if you don't have a patch like this, use legato and the pitch wheel to take it out of tune. That's another trick. I've done so many demos for so many libraries. Let's listen to this. Actually, I need to overlap in order for legato. Okay, so it's still perfect. Everybody starts and stops at the same time. So even though there's that out of tune factor, we need to first randomize the time on this. And that's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm just going to... Okay, so there's our starting point. Now we need mask layers. So this will usually work with any library. If you have a bunch of solo strings that have legato or portamento patches, this is a really good trick. I just cloned that first line, okay, 4 times, and now I'm going to assign it to the first one is going to be portamento, okay, a solo portamento, and I'll adjust everything later. And there's a feature in here where you can allow it to be out of tune too. So that's what I'm doing there. So that actually takes care of it for me. But if you can't do that, use pitch wheel. Now I'm going to use a normal legato patch. Solo string legato patch, okay? A different player though, a completely different sampled player. Now I'm going to use another completely different sampled portamento. So we got legato, portamento. Oh, let's just listen to it. Okay, that was all of them combined, the portamento and the legato. Here's without it. You can hear the difference already. So, and I haven't adjusted much of anything. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take one of these solo string patches and move it backward in time, and then take another one and move it forward in time. And we'll just leave this one as is. So that's way better than what we started with. And here's the main screen of my DAW, so you can see what's going on. That way, people who don't have Viana can actually do this if they have a bunch of solo strings. So going back into the sampler, I'm going to go ahead and take the volume down of the solos. Okay. And actually, as I'm doing this, I actually use a couple solo blurs even for regular slow legato lines because nobody ever transitions at the same time. So what I might do now is, put them in a general kind of stage position, but not exactly the same with each one. That actually makes a big difference in how the run sounds, believe it or not. So going back to the sequencer with added reverb, let's listen to the difference. Here's all of them. Here's the main legato patch with none of the solos. All of them again. So it blurs the line like a real section would sound. And I also did a lot of tuning things. If you don't have those options in your solo strings, if you just have plain legato, you can't control the tuning, random tuning and all that, use the pitch wheel. Just draw in little pitch wheel changes. And here's another trick. If your solo string is sampled chromatically, you can actually write the line in a half step lower, then use the pitch wheel to correct it up a half step. That way it's not going to be phased with the same exact solo string. So you could do tricks like that too, because it's using a pitched up different sample. So regardless of what sample library you use, I found that every time I've done a demo for a completely different sample library, I use these same tricks. It always makes those sample libraries sound twice as good. So that's what to get out of this as well. It doesn't matter what sample library you use. If you know these kind of tricks, they will often sound very good, even if you don't think they initially do when you just play in patches.